Hey guys, I'm a minute or so early, but I hope that's okay with you guys. Um, was much easier this evening because there was no Orville, which was fine because I got a chance to take my notes and think about this episode a little bit. So, hello everyone that's in the chat. Looks like we already have a super chat, and that's amazing. Thank you. Oh, two super chats. Jill puts in $2. Nerds of the many outweigh needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one or the few. I think I said nerds of many for a second. Fleet Paw Swiftback puts in $1.99. The feels, man, at Joe Torres. So yes, the moderators are here. You guys are doing awesome. Brian forced himself to stay awake to watch this. Well, I'm sorry it was so late. I could have done it probably a little bit earlier, but gave me time to do a few things. And yeah, so I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about this one, to be honest. From seeing the trailer, I thought I was going to not like it very much. And here we are. Gotta say, this was a really, really well done episode. A few aspects of it were kind of like, hmm. But overall, the whole Airiam story was not what I expected at all. Uh, and yeah, yeah, I don't know what to say specifically. Just that I didn't expect to really like this or early get to know Airiam. I love how they like introduce us to her character or have her uh, give her a backstory the same episode that they decide to do this. It's like, wow, thanks guys. It would have been nice to have known her for an episode or two in this context before this happened. um, but I mean, this opens up this opens a whole lot of questions and speculations and theory, because we know that in the Discovery short Calypso, the Discovery has an AI, which, considering that Airiam, before she left, downloaded all of her memories to Discovery itself, makes me think that the AI that we see in Calypso is in fact Airiam. Um, so, I mean, that's interesting. The whole Fleet Pass Swiftback puts on $1.99. Rest in peace, Airiam. Yes. We did find out what she is. She is human, and she became a cyborg. So, but yeah, so the story was really well done, really well paced. A little bit longer episode tonight, which was fine. Um, would have kind of pissed me off if Orville was on tonight and it ran as long as it did. It was like an extra 10 minutes or so on network TV, so that kind of sucked. But yeah, I really enjoyed this episode, guys. I don't know what else to say specifically about it. I mean, there's a lot that we can talk about. The Section 31 storyline I found a little bit annoying, to be fair. Finding out that the admirals have been dead. That there's a Tellarite. I don't know if it's the Tellarite admiral that we saw, but we know that the Vulcan um, admiral was in fact dead for 2 weeks. So were they even, in fact, even talking to Pike and or not Pike, talking to Leland and Giorgio in the last episode? Or is Section 31 is the one that's responsible for this, perhaps? Maybe it's Giorgio that's responsible for this, because there are holograms replacing the admirals, at least on transmissions. So it needs some clarification. But Jeffrey Taylor puts in $4.99. Awesome episode. This Discovery has its own HAL 9000. Yeah, so the Vulcan ambassador Pitar has been dead for 2 weeks. Uh, we got confirmation that Non is a Barzan. We've been saying that since we first saw her. A lot of people didn't believe me, saying that she was, in fact, the Barzan weren't members of the Federation, so why would she be there? But clearly she is. I just learned that Airiam looked different this season because she was played by a different actress. Yeah, I just found that out myself, to be fair. Patar, yeah. The Admiral's being dead was foreshadowed to hell, man. I didn't get the foreshadowing of that, so I must have missed something. So sorry. My understanding is that everything we've seen uh, from them has been Control and not the Admirals. Interesting, interesting. I figured that out a week or two ago. Well, you didn't tell me, and I didn't notice it. So, Michael Barnett puts in $5 Canadian. Thank you very much. Continuity at Space Fantasy. To hell with continuity. um, if you're enjoying what you see, please have a like, says Bradley Briggs. Um, yeah, so it was really nice to get a sense of who Airiam was, the whole Tilly thing, and they mentioned Cottiscott, how Tilly was a Cottiscott champion when she was younger. That was really awesome. Joseph Mills puts in $2 Australian. Hello, handsome. That's just creepy, dude. Stephen Julius puts in $5. Thank you. I would hate to be the one who let Tyler out of his quarters and tells him that Pike believes him now. Yeah, we got the confirmation that the information that Airiam had sent was the information from the orb, which I speculated last week was the case. So that was cool. I don't know where. There was a few distractions going on when I was watching this show, so I need to go back and watch it for sure. I did take notes the first time because I had something to do after the show was over, and then my daughter came home, and it was just so I might have missed one or two things. So I apologize if I did. I will go back and watch it before tomorrow our review. So Fleet Paw Swiftback puts in another $1.99. Thank you. Whoever disliked is going to Greythor. Well, somebody always dislikes. We always got the dissidents and the, the assholes that hit dislike just because they probably can't comment because they probably commented before and have been banned from commenting. So let them hit dislike. It still helps out the channel. It's an analytic for YouTube, so it's a good thing. It is all an interaction. Canadian Starships, it's interesting that at the end, Airiam said it's all because of Michael. Yes, I noticed that too. Everything happened because of you, she said. And I was like, making a note of that. And because Michael was apparently supposed to die originally, I find that very interesting. Now, the one thing I didn't like about this episode was, again, they Ethan Peck did a good job as Spock. Don't get me wrong. I do like his Spock. I think he's a fantastic actor, and his Spock is good, except for all of the emotion. It's like Star Trek forgot how to portray Spock. Zachary Quinto in the 2009 JJ movie and the subsequent ones, oozing with emotion and anger most of the time. Even this one, Spock was deliberately setting out to hurt Michael with what he was saying. And he was enjoying it. Um, it was just an odd choice. So the dislike has disappeared. Ooh, excellent. We have no control over that, so they must have decided to change their mind and maybe click like instead. Plus, Spock's half human, and it's been established that Vulcan's emotions are more volatile. Yes. And it's interesting the whole conversation between Stamets and Spock. I really like that. They kind of helped each other out. And Stamets is like, "Why did it choose you? What's special about you? Look at the things that are special about you that make you you." Well, I'm half human, but that's not unheard of. There are others of us. So he couldn't think of anything else. But that was a great conversation as well. The two of them. Um, they make an interesting team. Then Spock helps him out by telling him about that Hugh might not have left him because he no longer had feelings for him, but the fact that he didn't know who he himself was anymore. which was great. Spock's mental anguish regarding the Red Angel's revelations would bring out his emotional responses. Yeah, that's what I would assume, but I'd like to see a Spock done right at some point. It would be nice. Um, I don't mind emotional Spock, especially with how broken he is due to the visions. It was hilarious to see him put Michael in her place too. It was hilarious to see him put her in her place, absolutely. Um, and I don't have a problem with it either, as long as it's explained well and the scripts, the writing, answers the questions properly and does a good job of it. I have no issues with it. It just seems a little bit out of place at the moment. It's like every new version of Spock that we get just doesn't know how to Spock. You know. Stephen Julius puts in $2. Thank you. Do you think Airiam is really gone, or will she be back? I'm sure she'll be back. Like, she did download all of her memories into Discovery before she left, and like I said at the beginning of this, I have a feeling that ties in with Calypso and the AI that is now in control of Discovery. I have a feeling it's Airiam. Uh, and it could be that in the next couple episodes, Tilly and Burnham, all the geniuses on the ship decide to try to get her back or to create the AI in some fashion. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But that's my take on it. Thanks for this. Oh. Hey Cap, what would cause such a different alternate timeline? Hold on a second here. Hey Cap, what would cause such a different alternate timeline to occur? Just Burnham's death? Probably not just Burnham's death, no. Of course, there's also been speculation that Airiam is the Red Angel, and that could still become a thing. If that tech from the future finds her body and reanimates her, it could be that it, this the squid thing that attacked the shuttle, it could upgrade her to have the suit with the wings. So it's a possibility. Sick Brain puts in $2. Thank you. That was good. That was a good Burnham episode. Best we've seen of her. I would say so. She was not perfect in this episode, so the like factor is increasing. Can we hit like factor 100? Dun dun dun. Probably not. Yet another It's All About Burnham episode. Very good in parts, but it's annoying how much one character this story is. Everyone crying on the bridge was sad. Yes, it was. Pike in this episode was also great, and Saru. The fact that when that transmission was going on with the Admiral, just the amount of time they focused on him and that look on it, like he knew something was going on, which was great. And that also disproves the video footage of Spock killing the nurse and the guards. He's apparently been set up by Section 31, something else we called very early on. I think a lot of people have. So that was great to see that. I was surprised we didn't see Leland or Giorgio in this episode, to be fair. But yeah. Another thing that I don't know if you guys noticed, I noticed it, and so did one of my admins. He messaged me right away saying that the Discovery scale, or two of my admins, Discovery scale has been dialed back a bit by the looks of it, because when that shuttle goes up to it and is really close, it's not as big as it was. It used to be like twice the size of a Constitution class ship. Now it seems like they've scaled it down a little bit. So that's interesting in and of itself. I don't know if that means anything. I'm sure Samuel will just say that it's lenses and focal lengths and things. I don't know. But it just felt odd. And at the beginning too, where the shuttle was approaching Discovery and Discovery looked dead, I was like, is this like in the future? Is this the Calypso thing? Like the shuttle's finally coming back after 1,000 years? I thought it was going to be something like that, but no. It was just an odd way to start the show. There was no preview for next week. Are they on hiatus? I don't know. We don't get the previews here in Canada, so I didn't know there wasn't one for next week. The ending was sad. The end credits with just the sound effects of like the water It's actually kind of impactful. So that was well done. Like, this was a Jonathan Frakes episode, and somebody had said they like when Jonathan Frakes directs because there's no wonky camera angles. There's one wonky camera angle right near the beginning. It's an upside down shot of a Discovery computer display in the hallway, and then it spirals out and pans out. Same thing we got like with the Section 31 ship. It was just an odd choice, but David C says there was a preview, so there you go. All right, Brian, have a good night. He's got to hit the sheets, so see you later, Brian. But yeah, Frakes knows how to direct Trek. And another thing I really liked about this one was the fact that there was no blown out light coming in the windows of Pike's quarters, like a sun just outside. It was stars. It was a more blue, subdued color, and I thought that was fantastic. That's I got to give them props for that because we've complained about that. It's always seems to be in front of a star or something. Fleet Pod Swiftback puts in another $4.99. Hated the phasers powering up every time they pointed them at something annoying AF. Never even really noticed it, but you are right now that I'm thinking back on it. And the whole, gotta admit, Non as a security chief, she knows her job. She's keeping an eye on Airiam. That was really well done. Although you saw it was telegraphed a mile away about your Barzan. You need that to breathe, don't you? Oh, I was just wondering. It's like, oh yeah, that's going to come in handy later. That knowledge, and sure enough, it did. Can we talk about how Commander Non is just slowly getting a bit more screen time, time episode to episode, and also how nice it is? Yeah, I absolutely love her character. I do not want her to die, so I'm glad she didn't die in this one. Scott Halfney puts in $1.99. You don't have lens or focal length on CGI. That's what I thought, but yeah. It's like they dialed back the length of the nacelles a bit, and they dialed back a few things. It took way too long for someone to realize that the video Spock's breakout was a hologram. Yes, well, it's the first time we've seen it, so we don't know who's looked at it. Michael Harden puts in $4.99. I'll set off. If we get 100 likes, I'll donate another super chat. Well, thank you, Michael. That's much appreciated. I can't believe we have 227 people watching. The fact that 227 people want to watch me just talk about this episode is fantastic. So thank you very much, guys. She was also wearing a disco skirt. Yeah, she's been wearing a skirt since she came on board, essentially. That breathing apparatus was implanted in her face. Yes. Why didn't she just put on her EV helmet? That's funny that you said that because Sylvia said the same thing. She's like, you're wearing an EV suit. Just close the thing and set the environmental controls to what you need. That's what I thought she was going to do. So that's an interesting point there, yeah. You absolutely have lens and focal length in CGI. See, I don't know. I'm not a CGI guy. What's his name? That Samuel guy. He says there is, and he would know. Caleb Horn, $2. Love seeing the Discovery booting up and warping. Yeah, the boot up sequence was fantastically cool. I did make a note of that. That was really neat to see it power up and take off. And that opening shot too of the planet with the sun behind it, and then the warp thing, and then just the ship, and it's the shuttle. That was great. That was really well done. Perhaps the shuttle is scaled up. Well, probably. It's probably a huge shuttle. But then when we saw it on the hangar deck, it's the same as every other shuttle we've seen. So, I don't buy that. Warp effect back to normal. No warp tube. I didn't notice that. I just want to voice an opinion that hearing a mod say thank you every time someone super chat seems a bit unnecessary and impersonal, like a Walmart greeter. Just my opinion. Okay, thank you, Mr. Miles. I think it's polite because I can't always, I don't always catch them right away. So they're just, the mods are doing that so the people that super chatted are aware that the mods are aware that they super chatted, because sometimes we might miss one and the mods will go message me and tell me that I've missed one or whatever. So that's what that's for. I mean, let's get a consensus here. Um, from everybody in the chat, do you like that the moderators are thanking you for your super chats and stuff, or is that something you'd rather not see? Because the moderators are just the Trekyards admins. They're helping out with the lives to make sure that I don't miss anything or whatever. So it's much appreciated. They're really helping me out. So I'd love to hear your thoughts, what you'd like to see. They're sharing links and stuff as I talk about something. If I talk about my personal channel, they'll share a link to the personal channel. If I talk about something like the Teespring store, the Trekyards merchandise, they'll share a link to that. Mods letting you know you missed one is smart. No complaints there. Well, thank you, Mr. Miles. Yeah, because I don't always catch them, and even on the streams with Samuel, we might miss one super chat, and I didn't read the question or whatever, so I'm good either way. It doesn't bother me. Yes, like it. You're always welcome. I appreciate it. I do not want Oh, I like it. All good. There you go. Fleet Paw Swiftback was $1.99. Dope. Of course I like it. Me. I like being reminded to hit like because I forget sometimes. See, that's helpful as well, and the likes definitely help out the chat. So, oh wow, that got me It did, Mr. Miles. I was nice enough to give you a wrench, unlike Anti-Trekker. I even got you a wrench on Anti-Trekker's channel for literally a minute. So I've been helping you out, and then you come along and you openly in the chat say that it's not, you don't like it. You could have messaged me privately to suggest that, but that's okay. We're going to just let you go wrench this for a little while. You can get it back, but you know, it's the ongoing joke that you don't get a wrench. I'll be at a captain's log. Will there be a captain's log tomorrow? Of course there is. There's a captain's log every Friday. On the Captain Foley personal channel, it's released at 8 a.m. On the Trekyards channel, it's released at 9 a.m. Not a huge difference, but of course the Eagle Moss review as well tomorrow, which ironically enough, the episode tonight was called Project Daedalus. Tomorrow I review the Eagle Moss Daedalus class Horizon, USS Horizon. So there you go. She disabled her helmet. Okay, so the likes have hit 100 now, and we need that guy to keep his word. Ha! Thanks, Joseph, for noticing. Yeah, but Airiam was probably resisting so she could go psycho again in case she got retrieved. Adrian Margerson, £2. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Miles, you suffer. Don't worry, Mr. Miles. I still love you. It's kind of an odd way to go about bringing that up to me personally, because I've already talked to the Trekyards admins. We talk quite often about the lives and how they go after the fact and stuff. So we've kind of worked out a game plan how we want to handle things. But I do appreciate your input. Just you probably could have messaged me privately about that. Michael Harden, there you go. Puts in $1.99. We got over 100 likes. Way to go. Cool. Anti-Trekker has his wrench. She just needs to reach into the screen and take it off Anti-Trekker's desk. That is true. I give up. Can't type before coffee. It's all good, Zarkundi Grissom. Did they mention in the show why they didn't just transport Airiam out? Well, I would assume because it was originally a prison facility. So that kind of, because when they approached it, they said no life signs, but oh yeah, it's a prison facility. That would be, you know, the construction of it prevents getting sensor readings and stuff. So that's what I would assume. Oscar Castillo puts in $5. Thank you. For some reason, when Spock did the mind meld with the Red Angel, I thought he may have been on Delta Vega from Star Trek 2009. It did look like Delta Vega. It did. Even though Delta Vega and TOS looks nothing like that. But that's all right. We're not going to nitpick. But yeah, that's what I would assume why they didn't use the transporter was just because it was a prison facility. So there's probably something in the superstructure to prevent beaming in case power goes down or somebody finds a way to disable the shields. You don't want all the prisoners escaping. So had a transport block. Yeah, I didn't hear anything about a transport block, but there was a lot of dialogue being thrown around at some points. So Rel Solus puts in 9.99. I thought the nacelles looked shorter as well. However, when I look at the ship in similar perspectives in Star Trek Online, they also look shorter. So I'm thinking it's an optical illusion. Yeah, but all through season 2, all the shots they've showed of it from every angle, the nacelles just look shorter. And Samuel insists that it's focal length or the way they're filming or doing the CGI for it. I don't know. I think they might have made a few modifications. Maybe not, but so would you say I'd enjoy the episode now? I have to wait 5 hours so I can enjoy it. I think you'll really enjoy it, Joseph. I really do. Why not beam her back after she went into space? That's a good question. That is a good question because she was part cyborg, so I would assume that she could maybe survive a little bit longer. That's a really good question. Unless beaming would have attracted the mines. The mines were pretty cool, though, you got to admit. Scott Halfree puts in $1.99. Thank you. Admiral Cornwall was flying a Firefly Reaver ship. Okay. It was made of untransporthium. Yes. Like unattainium. It could be focal length from certain angles, but from the front they look so much shorter. I'm suspicious of that. Sadly, I knew when they started humanizing the android that she was going to die, but I also knew that when she got hacked. Yeah. I hate that they just really humanize her in this episode. It's like you should have done that 2 episodes ago. Then we had time to sit with it and go, oh yeah, it's Airiam. She's one of the bridge crew. But no, we got to do it in the same episode that you decide to kill her in. It's like, wow. Thanks, guys. Even a human with no suit could have survived space for a second. For a couple seconds, probably, yeah. But as soon as you get sucked into space, all the air in your lungs doesn't get sucked out. It gets blown out because your lungs would. So it'd be very painful death, I'm sure. But Fleet Palace Swiftback puts in another $1.99. Why didn't they destroy mines with phasers? Again, that's a very good question. There's probably a super great reason for it, but I don't know what it is. I must have missed that line of dialogue. Ralph Barrett says it takes about a minute, according to NASA, to die in space. That's what NASA... Have they ever killed anybody, though? I know some Russian cosmonauts probably died in space, but they did have spacesuits on and stuff, so I don't know. You got to test that like somehow. So, yeah, the female bot Titanium Man got infected with the Cylon virus. Nobody in Star Trek is really ever dead unless they are red shirt. He's not really dead as long as we remember him. You can last up to 2 minutes in space. NASA did a study on it. You blow up like a balloon. That sounds awful. Do you think Prime Lorca will show up? I don't know. I would really like him to. I'm a huge fan of Prime Lorca, and well, I don't know what Prime Lorca is like just from the novel that he's in with Giorgio, but I'm a huge fan of Lorca. Period. The actor did a great job with that, and I would like to see the Prime Lorca return. I don't know if he will, but explosive decompression is a little bit overblown. It's slightly less dramatic than explosive compression. Disco has no Klingon ships to disable mines with disruptors. Yeah, I'm interested to find out when we see the Klingons again. Like I said, I didn't see the preview for next week, So if there's Klingons in it, I apologize. Let me know what the preview for next week was about. I end up watching it before the next episode anyway. I just don't see it on Thursday when it first airs, that's all. I originally thought Muriel was the one messing up the mushroom world instead of Culber. I did too, considering that he kind of fell into the spore core of the Charon. The one thing I hate about that scene, when he falls into the spore core, is that as he's like dissolving, it's the sound of a TIE fighter. The scream of a TIE fighter. It was really bad. Go back and watch that scene if you missed it. We can appreciate the fact that we know the crew socialize, but I want me some singing, some lyre playing, and some magic card tricks with the yeoman. Speaking of, where are the yeomen? Yeomen are outdated concepts now, and they're sexist, so there are no yeomans in New Trek. Just like there's no death sentence to go to Talos, it's just restricted travel. No death sentence was mentioned. I think that's a product of the time, personally. They only showed mainly funeral for Atrium. I think you mean Airiam. No Klingons in the preview, thank God. I don't want to see the Klingons again. Just every time there's a Klingon episode, I'm like, oh my God. Unless they do it right. I don't know if they will. I don't have faith in them. Michael Berman's actor seems like the spoiled kid who got into Star Trek show because of rich parents who paid. I think, well, she's got a ironclad contract, I'm sure. That's one of the reasons that she still gets to save the day in every episode. I know the story's kind of about her, but it was interesting that Airiam said, everything's because of you, Michael. Everything that's happened is because of you, Michael, or whatever. I forget the exact quote, but that really struck me as odd. So now we have a Wilhelm scream. Engineering is still the thing confusing me. Engineering is very interesting, and it does confuse me as well. So you're not alone in that, my friend. Now, Space Duck did a funny video on restrooms and spaceships. He implied that some crew probably have to go out on EVAs to relieve themselves. Or just go down to the shuttle bay and pee in the pee corner. Joe Torres, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that there's still yeomen in the Navy today. I'm just not sure of their exact role. I know Chris would be able to fill us in on that and send picture after picture after picture after picture after picture. Look, here's a yeoman carrying a clipboard. Here he is bringing a coffee. Here he is with a file folder. Here he is on the deck of the ship. Here he is talking to the captain. The admins and the moderators, they're laughing. They know what I'm talking about. JJ Shen says, I think they have yeomen. It's probably not as clear since their ranks are designated by pips. Oops. I lost the comment. Badge pips or shoulder stripes. I remember a joke from Voyager about Bolians and their toilet facilities. Pea corner, I forgot about that. Yeah, see, Joe, I know you'd like it. So yeah, overall, it was a fantastic episode. I didn't expect to like it. I really didn't, based on the preview. But it didn't go at all like I expected. I expected Airiam to be more of a bad guy in it. It wasn't really played like that. And I thought it was really well done. Tilly had a great part in it. Kata Scott was mentioned, which was nice. 3D chess was great. The fact that Spock was deliberately trying to lose was interesting. I liked his conversation with Burnham. I thought that was fantastic. The way he kind of slapped her down a few times and made her cry. That was awesome. But the anger thing that needs to be addressed or explained. I love how he's like, I forget who said it. She's your sister, not by blood. Oh, that was Cornwall. The whole lie detector thing at the beginning was awesome. The little hoverballs. I almost expected Spock to whip out a lightsaber and start blocking. I like the episode. Michael Burnham is the only problem remaining. They made me severely love Airiam just to have killed her off. Airiam shows us all why bit and stealing is bad, okay? BitTorrenting. That's the word you're trying to say. Samuel is not going to like this episode. That's interesting. We should call this now, guys. We should come up with a decision with Samuel. I think he's going to like what they were trying to do, but he's not going to like the fact that they introduced Airiam's character to us and then killed her off in the same episode, and he's going to bring up the Doctor Who thing that he does all the time about that. This is nothing bad against Samuel. I'm just trying to figure out what he's going to say. He's also going to say that there was a few plot holes and a few things that just didn't make any sense, which I kind of understand, but then he's going to rewrite half the episode. If you want to see that, that'll be tomorrow afternoon, our official review, and then at 5 Eastern Standard Time, or 9 in the UK because of Daylight Savings Time, we'll be going live to do our full episode breakdown. So, yes, let's see if we can get to 150 likes, guys. That'd be cool. I see many things he will pick out. How good was the ship porn, if good? Sam may like it. The ship porn was good. There was some really good, that one of the first shots of the Discovery there at the planet with the shuttle coming out to was great. Plus going to warp. The mines were okay. When the one hit the back and hit the shuttle bay, I thought, oh, for sure, the shuttle bay is going to decompress now because the force field is going to go down. They're going to realize they need to put down the shuttle bay door at some point. That'd be cool. But that never happened. Samuel doesn't like any episode, and he likes what they're trying to do, but always hates them. That's not true. He does like some. Good night. The Berman bashing is exhausting. Oh, sorry, Jill. I'm not bashing Burnham. I don't think I was bashing Burnham. I think I read about Berman being a time traveler, just going off of next week's trailer. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Okay, I gave you my like, Captain Foley. Well, thank you, DJ Odyssey. Speaking of, hey, DJ Odyssey, haven't seen you in a while, so hope you're doing well. Oh, I'm sure Anti-Trekker. Is he live right now? I'm sure he's going to hate this episode for multiple reasons. Spore magic kept the shuttle bay shield up. So Section 31 in Discovery is completely different from the secret society it is in every other series. Yeah, well, we've talked about that. We think that in Enterprise it was still super top secret, obviously. But by this time it's come kind of into the light as a public thing. But something's going to happen that's going to make them officially get disbanded or shut down completely, even though they're not. They're just going to go back under deep undercover, like they should be, till Deep Space Nine. And even then, it's still deep undercover because they only really exposed themselves to Bashir. Wasn't Spock accused before the AI went haywire? Yes. But that was Section 31 covering it up. Or framing him, so. Howdy, Captain Foley. No, he isn't live yet. Hello, I'm waiting for the head exploding, laughing my ass off. Well, I won't be watching tonight, so say hi to him for me, and you'll have to let me know if he hated it. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to have to give this episode I'm going to give it an 8, I think. I really enjoyed it. And like I said, I did not expect to. There were some great character moments. Quite a few people got little bit parts and lines, which was nice. And the scene more of Spock was awesome. I do like Ethan Peck's Spock. I think he's great. So the Admiral's being dead, I love that, because it always struck me as odd that they were given Section 31 orders, but now it's Control that's doing that. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. 8.5, Commander Steel, a 6, a 7, a Hay, a 7, an 8. Do you think after the time travel stuff unravels, it would go back to a TOS look for the Enterprise? I do hope so. But everybody complains that all we complain about is things don't look right, and it's not the 1960s, and things can't look like that anymore, and so it's an update, blah, blah, blah. So I don't even want to say that I hope so, because then people are going to get all uppity. But personally, I hope so. 8, 8.5, 8, a robot out of 10. That's the best mark I've seen all night. Solid 8, totally engaged all over. Tilly was annoying as ever. I didn't think so. I thought Tilly was great. A 10, the female dynamic is more balanced. I mean, female dynamics are more balanced. We had a female Vulcan Admiral. We had a female Admiral Cornwall. We had Airiam, who's a female. We had Tilly. We had Burnham. We had the helmsman and the helms lady and Non. Everybody's a woman except for Saru, Bryce, who doesn't do anything, and Captain Pike. And Tyler, who was... I don't know what he was doing in his quarters. I know he's confined there, but we didn't even see him at all. And you would think he would know that they were going to Section 31 or that they were being attacked by the mines, because I'm sure his quarters have windows. So it would have been nice to see his reaction. I don't know. There's a few things wrong with the episode, but I guarantee you can sell a show looking like the 1960s today if you marketed it correctly, and if you visually updated it to still maintain that feel, but be modern. It's possible. Trust me. 100% behind you, Captain. Hope it goes. I hate when they fly by so fast. I hope it goes back to TOS. Gotcha. Mr. No Response, calm guy, lol. No one went out there to put Pike in his place for being a man, to clarify. Ah, okay. Gotcha. There was no woman-splaining. He was sharpening his mek'leth. 7 out of 10, mostly because Airiam needed to grow more before they killed her off. Yeah. Should have had at least a few episodes where we saw these memory things and her hanging out. We did see her at a table in the mess hall with some people when Hugh came in and beat up Tyler. That was a thing. We made note of that, like she's hanging out in the mess hall with somebody, so we did notice that, but it wasn't enough. Q to Janeway, is this ship of the Valkyries, or has Starfleet gotten rid of all of its men? Visual update does not mean change how everything looks. Exactly. Michael Harden, I hope it goes back to TOS, but however they could visually update the look a little, but keep it the correct feel. Yeah, absolutely, totally easy to do. Trekyards, scroll up a bit in the comments and they'll stop scrolling. Scroll up a bit in the comments and they'll stop. Well, I know, but I'm reading it as they're scrolling because I usually catch them before they disappear, and then it's like 3 more come in. It's like, so I gotta scroll up. Pike did hold his own against any character, yes. I'm torn because while the TOS Enterprise is gorgeous, I love the redesign we've seen on Discovery. It would almost be a shame to lose that without ever seeing it in action. I'll agree to that. The one that John Hughes did is beautiful. It should have been the one in 2009. It should have been the JJ Enterprise. That would have been fantastic. But instead, we got the Ryan Church Enterprise, which is just. Just finished watching the episode. I feel like I just got in a car accident, more confused as ever. There was a few confusing things about it. Even me, after taking notes and stuff, I'm still confused about things, and I think I missed some things because we were talking about that earlier in this live chat. I was just like, did I miss a few things? Probably. Like I said, there was stuff going on in the house. My daughter came home and stuff like that, so... TOS look could be sold as kitschy and retro, but with top-notch CGI. Do you think you'll ever see Robert April? Probably. If it goes for another season or two, I can see him making an appearance. The TOS sets, CGI, and Star Trek continues look great. Looking for a good toy version of the phaser. There aren't any of the Discovery phaser. There was going to be one released by McFarlane Toys, but they scrapped it because of gun laws, I think. I had one on order, and then it just never came to be. There are resin ones out there you can get. You'd have to search for them. There's also one from Anavis, I think, that does one, but it's like super expensive. So, what the fuck with the pack-away helmets? I know. Agreed, an 8 overall. Wasn't too keen on Spock's anger. I was and I wasn't. I really enjoyed it. Like, the actor was into it. He did a good job, and just slamming down Michael was great. Don't know why he would necessarily do that. He seems kind of childish for it, but it was interesting. Maybe Saru will finally be the captain of the Discovery for Discovery Season 3. I can see that. Should April be played by Eugene Roddenberry? That'd be kind of neat, actually. That'd be a nice cameo, a nice homage. Get a 3D printer to make your phaser, yeah. No, they will make Robert April a woman. Oh man. Any good 3D models of the Discovery phaser? I'm sure there are. I've seen some online. Maybe go try Shapeways. I don't know if Shapeways does the phaser though. But Shapeways has some great 3D printed stuff, ships and things, so they might have a phaser. Other than that, you can look one up on eBay. I'm sure you can get them either painted or unpainted. Should ask Anti-Trekker, he might be able to print you one out. Speaking of, whatever happened to his 3D printers? He always had a 3D printer printing something. He was always talking about the print, and now they're just disappeared. They're gone. We never hear anything. We never see anything. Anything 3D printed. So I'm kind of like, what happened? Spock stood up to Burnham. Finally, a character with some balls. Spock feels the way we all do about Burnham. Any good one-liners today, Captain, in the show? When he walks into her quarters and looks at Tilly's side and it's all decorated and Burnham's side is just plain, and he makes a comment about it being plain, and she's like, well, I express myself with my work, not with my decor. And he's like, obviously. That was pretty good. Unpainted, I'd love to do the painting. Yeah, you can get them unpainted, I'm sure. It'd be cheaper, so. So many comments. Which is good. Don't stop. It's hard for me to read them all. So sorry if I skip any or whatever, but Joe Torres puts in $1.99. Admiral's comments on Enterprise, not in the war. Oh yeah, that was fantastic too. The whole you sat the war out, Captain. We did that on purpose because we needed, if the Federation fell, we needed our best of the best out there. Or the best of the best left behind, or to pick up the pieces. That was actually pretty great. I forgot about that, but you're right. And Joe puts in another $1.99. No, that's the same $1.99. Sorry. Why is the group chat calling, Joe? The group chat is calling me. See, all the Trekyards admins. I guess I'll pick it. There we go. I'm gonna hang up because no, I don't even know why. That's the thing. Some of the Discovery shots were super lit. You mean lit like as in lit with lights, or lit like as in slang for awesome? Peck had a difficult time being away from the war. Feels guilty. Feels guilty that he wasn't there and others died. I enjoyed Burnham getting punched, kicked, and tossed around the room just a little too much. Not going to watch this because I literally just pirated the episode and haven't watched it yet. Well, go watch it. Jeff grabbed it and did it on accident. did it by accident. On accident is a pet peeve of mine because it makes no sense. Captain Foley, do you think the Borg could appear during the show, counting on all these time loops? I certainly hope not. For the love of God, do not bring in the Borg. Don't mention the Borg. Don't have anything that look like the Borg. Just no. Fleet Paw Swiftback puts in $1.99. Off to bed. Good night. School comes early. All right, we'll see you later, sir. Thank you very much for all the super chats and for hanging out with us. Much appreciated. It's been 50 minutes, guys. I'm going to probably call it a wrap in a few minutes, around the hour mark. Did I miss something in this episode, or could they just beamed Airiam out? We talked about that earlier. I just assumed it's because it was a prison facility originally, plus then Section 31, that there's something in the construction to prevent that, because when they were trying to scan for life forms, they said, oh yeah, it's a prison facility. Of course, we can't read any life forms in there. It's built to not allow that, so no sensor scans. Mine tried going into the open shuttle bay. Pike was good in this episode and had some really good lines, as he always has. We left the best Enterprise crew out of the war. Also, fuck this other crew. I did wonder why they didn't just beam Airiam into the brig. Yeah, see, that's going to be an ongoing thing that we're going to have to address in our review. But yeah, I think it's because it was a prison facility. Now, that being said, after she was airlocked out, I don't know why they didn't just lock onto her and beam her out of space to save her life. But it could be a scattering field or something around the facility because it was a Section 31 facility, so who knows. Great live tonight, Captain. Can't wait for tomorrow's live breakdown. Thank you, Charles. Archer gets blown into space and saved. Airiam, nah, let her die. Exactly, and that's older tech with Archer too. That transporter should not have been really able to do that, but that's okay. They beamed in though, but that was in the decompression. But that was in the decompressed problem. Yeah, but they beamed in, and the chief said, "We'll get you out if there's trouble." That's very true. Damn. Now you got me thinking. Don't do that. Systems were down on the ship that would control that. I think you have the same miniature Batlath I did that I gave my dad for Christmas one year. He ran around looking. That's my wife's, actually. That's Sylvia's. I bought her that for Christmas one year. It's a letter opener. So yes. I'd have appreciated an attempt to save her, only to have her die anyway. Yeah, that would have been probably better. They could have beamed her out after she was beamed out. I'm just going to chalk it up to the writers not just phoning that part in. Borg Queen coming up. Imagine if Airiam became the first Borg Queen. I can see them doing it too. I can see them doing it, and that's the sad part. It was a flaw. They beamed in. Oh, and why, for the love of God, can we never close the shuttle? We mention that all the time. Like I said, earlier when they were going through the minefield, a mine, you saw the ship from the back, and a mine like hit right on the corner of the shuttle bay, and I'm like, for sure that's going to shut down the force field and decompress the bay, and they're going to have to slam the door shut. Nope. That would have been funny as hell, though. That would have been funny. No Temple Cold War. Airiam wanted to die, not sure what people are on about. Well, she wanted to die so she wouldn't hurt anybody, because she had just snapped out of the being controlled by whatever was controlling her. 2 weeks ago, I was in DC and saw the TOS model. I posted a video on YouTube of it. Thomas, man, that's awesome. I really need to see that thing. Does the shuttle bay have doors? Yes, they've been closed before. Early on in season 1, they've been closed, but then lately they just leave them open with the force field on all the time. I mean, it's probably a nicer view for sure, but even in TNG they didn't keep them open all the time. It's got to be a drain on power, you know. Plus, it's a big bay door. A lot could go wrong. There was nothing wrong with the transporter. The writers wanted her to die, so she died. Shut the bay door. I don't know how, sir. You know, the bay door could have been damaged when they brought in that piece of asteroid that messed up the bay a little bit when it came in, that dark matter asteroid. So maybe that's why it's been open the whole time. Who knows? It just feels like Airiam was contrived to die and need to die. That's the problem with only starting her development this very episode. Yeah, that's one of the things that Commander Calkins is going to complain about too. I bet you any money. There's a smoker who leaves the door open. I think it was closed when they ran silent. I think so. I think it was closed once in season 2 that we made a note of. I'd have to go back and watch the reviews, but yeah, we do call it out when we see it. Would it be ironic that if Airiam would be the very first Borg queen? It'd be stupid. Maybe they wanted fresh air. Yeah. So guys, I'm going to call it quits in a minute, but thank you very much for tuning in and watching with me. Like I said, I give this an 8 out of 10. It was a fantastic episode, better than I expected. A lot of plot holes, though, now that I've talked to you guys about it, which I need to address tomorrow. But speaking of tomorrow, don't forget to check out the Captain's Log. It's 8 o'clock on the Captain Foley personal channel or 9 a.m. on the Trekyards page or the channel. And also check out the Eagle Moss review at noon tomorrow, which ironically enough is the Daedalus class, USS Horizon from Eagle Moss. So that's the old style Daedalus class. And tonight's episode was named Project Daedalus. So that's totally coincidental, by the way, guys, but it's kind of like karma. Not karma. Synchronous. Yeah. It's not karma. It's just coincidence. But check it out. Shauna, sleep well, Captain. I will, Shauna. You too. Wasn't the Borg in Star Trek Enterprise series? Unfortunately, yes, but they did a fairly good job of that one. It was a good episode. I just want an entire arc. It wasn't one episode. Eagle Moss. What? The Eagle Moss models. The Daedalus classes tomorrow at noon, so check it out. I do reviews every Friday of Eagle Moss models. So, good night, Jamal. See you later. So, anyway, guys, thank you for joining me. Not as long as usual, and I apologize for that. Just my mouth's really dry. I need to go get a drink. But I will talk to you guys. I'll see you tomorrow at the. Like I said, the review goes up in the afternoon, and then at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we're doing our live episode breakdown review. So join us for that if you're able. I'd love to see you guys there and put in your thoughts and comments and questions about why she wasn't beamed out. Yeah, but anyway, I'll see you later, guys. Thank you again for watching, and have a good night.